Good morning to you. Welcome to another episode of Business Realities with Adini Ishuremi. In this episode, we'll be talking about the newly launched DUFMA Cassava Farming Cluster Program. I take it again, DUFMA Cassava Farming Cluster Program. Yes, we'll be talking about this particular opportunity today and what it means for farm owners, and probably even answer a few questions around the program. But first and foremost, why are we looking into this opportunity? So you see, basically, there are several challenges that come with farming in Nigeria. And just like many African countries, these challenges stems from high cost of production. For someone that is outside the country, say for example, in the Western world, Europe or America, when you talk about the cost of production to them, it sounds surprisingly low. But then, might I explain the same outputs within the local markets? Then they tend to understand that it's equally cheap compared to Western world. Now, in the local markets, there's no point producing an item for, take an example, $10 when the product is being offered on the market for something around $9. It doesn't make sense, right? You spend $10 in producing a particular commodity that you would eventually have to sell at $9. So every day farmers are having a rat race system where they are trying to produce at a lesser value so they can have a good margin. And that is where challenges coming from the present time. In the present time, farm owners are trying to look at every which cut costs, and this cut across cost of land, cost of seedlings, cost of chemicals, cost of work staffing, labor and staffing, and cost of mechanization. Every way farm owners can cut costs they want to. Now, excessive cut costing mechanism have its detrimental challenges, and some of those challenges are largely within the case where if you cut the cost too much, you may have issues with the value, and that is not logical. And that's why, even right now, we are trying our best to help farmers cut some costs naturally. An example of the costs we're trying to help farmers cut is the cost of farmland. The cost of farmland purchased or lease are substantial in itself when contributed to the overall cost that will be spent on a particular farm for a year. For example, if you're looking at buying an acre of farmland in the southwestern part of Nigeria, you'll be looking in terms of naira value anything between 300,000 to 400,000 to around 600 a million naira, and this excludes government documents that backs up the land. Now, if government documents is going to be accompanying this land, you're looking at a naira value of between 700,000 to a million, up until the tune of even 2 million naira per acre. Now, if you're looking at dollar equivalent of this value, you're looking at something around $500 to as high as like $1,000. Yes, $1,000 or more. So these are the myriads of challenges that you get to see when it has to do with land. Now, if you want to lease as well, you're looking to lease anything between 40,000 naira per year to as high as 100,000 per year, depending on how near the farmland is to a nearby road or other amenities and facilities. What DUFMA is trying to do is to ensure that the cost of having the land is taken away. So the client doesn't have to invest in the land. Instead, the client focuses its production value on developing the farm so as to make adequate sales. So DUFMA offers this land for free to audience. Up to 100 acres is available to be offered to the right audience. And the idea there is that all these people will come together to produce cassava in a way that guarantees lesser cost of production and more possibility of good margin when the final sales is done. Outside that as well, when you farm in a cluster system, which of course speaks to the name of the program, you tend to share resources, human resources, material resources, and many other things, and reduces the cost for overall members in the cluster group. And the idea simply for us is if we can do this, right, we can ensure that many farmers can participate while reducing the barrier to entry for many and ensuring it works. So now in this program, we have what we promise and we have things we don't promise, right? One thing we promise is that yes, the farm is completely 100% free. There are no hidden charges, right? There are no single hidden charges. Land is free, entirely free. Now, another thing we promise as well is that we would make sure that we put in systems to help co-manage the farm for you to ensure that the farm is not just only your responsibility. So you can be involved to whatever degree you desire. And if, for example, you get caught up with activities and you could not make to the farm, the supervisor and the management system that is put in place can always assist you in monitoring this farm for good. That's another thing we promise to put the system in place. Of course, we equally promise that the market to which it will be sold is promised and guaranteed because of course we have the system and partnership in place already. So the sales is happening to us as a company and we are offering it to our partners at a market standard price. So it's not going to be different from what the market is offering. It's a market standard price that would be used for it. Now, these are things that we promise to all our clients, right? A good market and the land, they are both for free. And of course, possibility and access to good management team that may be able to help you ensure that the development is going right. Now, some things we don't promise, right? We don't promise any returns because farming is a very conscious effort. And why you're guaranteed to succeed with all of these structures, right? We don't have specificity to return on investment to you. We can give you a branch or we can give you how will I call it, an estimated value you may be looking forward to. However, we don't have a specific value that will promise anyone. Knowing fully that the dynamics between product sales on post harvest always differ. So right now, Gary could be a little over 100,000 per ton at the moment, and then give it another 4 5 months, it may go as low as 30,000 or 40,000 or 50,000 per tonnage, right? At that point, these are market forces that no one can account for. Although it is wise to know that cassava or tuber had been on the rise for the past 2 years and it has remained consistently high for over a year. And that's why right now, for people that takes Gary like I do, or that occasionally drink Gary or even need cassava flour for other things, they'll realize that it has become crazily expensive. And that's because for almost a year it has stayed relatively high. Now, of course, this could continue down into the end of the year or even next year. But the summary there is these factors are not something that could easily be manipulated, as it comes with there are many stakeholders in the business value chain, and then of course comes to from the government. So that knowing that very well, there's little we can do to steal or to direct the market to where it ought to go. So while we expect every client to make profit from reduced expenses, because they were actually literally subsidizing the farming procedure for a lot of clients, while we expect that the lower cost of production would mean higher margin, of course, we would like to prepare the mind of our clients that in farming, these things are the reality and you need to understand them before you get involved, right? Now, with that stated, it's very important that you know that we'll be looking forward to work on a tour that can take clients to the land in advance, probably a week beforehand. Now there are two operational periods, right? There are two operational periods. There's the July 1 operational period and the August 1 operational period. These two periods are going to be considered cultivating the cassava to achieve uniformity in their harvest and ensure that we can depend on their product when the time is right. So some batch will be working with the first operational batch, while the second will go with the second operational batch of August 1. And these are part of the summary for this. Of course, kindly follow through the emails you receive to be able to see the frequently asked questions around this offer. Now, certain you come to understand that this is one of the best offers you may have, right? Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for everyone that listened. If there are any questions, don't hesitate to ask, as we are more than happy to answer them. Of course, once again, my corporate contact is 081 10812605. It is strictly for WhatsApp, so ensure that you're messaging through WhatsApp instead. 081 10812605. And that's it. Thank you so much for your time. Till we talk again, have a wonderful day.